Life is pain.
No, really, it says so on my shirt right there.
Seems like everyone's got their lives figured out. People you grew up with are happy, they've got families, they're taking vacations, they've got their careers, and then there's you and me. What are we doing? Growing up, I always knew that I wanted to be a business owner. I've always been into art, and I tried so many things that just never panned out. Like, nothing ever seemed to stick. Sorry about the. Nothing ever seemed to stick. Like, I love making art. I grew up painting and drawing, crafting. I love crafting. I find new things all the time that I want to try. Like, I've done it all. I've tried resin, I've tried clay art, I've tried jewelry making, I've tried painting, but nothing ever felt like something that I could take it and run with it. I mean, I have ADHD and I'm sure that that's a big part of the problem, but I could never find anything that I wouldn't get quickly burnt out on. And I think a lot of us have that problem. But the big thing about turning crafting into a business wasn't even the burnout from the crafting. This is Penny, by the way. The big thing about turning crafting into a business wasn't even the actual crafting part. I got burnout because selling sucks. Taking product photos sucks. Marketing sucks. Writing descriptions sucks. Shipping sucks. If I could just sit in my little corner and craft all day while my products sold themselves, that would be fantastic. That's the dream. Like, I'm giving YouTube a shot now because it seems easier. Not that YouTube's easy, YouTube is not easy. Writing a script, recording the video, trying not to have your dogs interrupting in the background of the video, creating a thumbnail, writing a title that people will actually want to engage with, making good content in general. Like, you can't just it's such a long learning process of figuring out what works and what doesn't. You got to keep trying. And I know that. And I know it's not easy. But I do like the idea that, like, it's something I can pick up and take with me wherever I go. But learning YouTube, learning the editing, how to find B roll, all of it, every time I try to learn something new, I feel so overwhelmed. And this is something that has been a dream for me for years, and I'm just now getting into it because it always scared me. The thing about YouTube is I don't have to sell anything. I hate selling. I could never be a salesperson. I don't have to sell. I mean, I sort of have to sell myself, but you don't have to spend your money on clicking my video. All you have to spend is your time. And that's something that people are a lot more willing to give out. Time is a valuable resource, of course, but you're sitting there bored at work, bored at lunch, you're looking for something to watch, or even like you're looking for a video of value to teach you how to do something. You're giving that creator your time, but people are a lot more willing to do that than like go buy a course in a lot of cases. And so I don't have to try to monetarily sell you anything. But in learning how to do everything for YouTube, I don't feel like I have got that same natural knack for it that I have for crafting. But I have the love for it, I have the desire. So, like having a small art based business, I hate the business half of it. Doing YouTube, I mean, obviously has a business part as well, but like it's less intensive, I guess. At least, especially by the time that it gets more intensive, you're making enough money that you can hire people. But I don't have to worry about shipping, product demand, any of that. But it's like both of these paths that I'm drawn toward have pretty sizable downsides that I am struggling with. And when you feel drawn towards multiple things but also nothing at all, how do you decide what to do? There's this webcomic that I like to read about a society full of people with superpowers. It's called Unordinary. If this is it. So it got me thinking, if we all had our own unique superpower like that, it'd be a lot easier for us to figure out what our purpose is. That's what was going through my mind as I was reading this. Because I felt lost in life a lot. I grew up wanting to be a veterinarian, and around 10th grade, I lost that desire. And ever since then, I felt just lost. But superpowers seemed like the perfect answer. If we all had our own unique superpowers, we wouldn't have to guess at what we're good at. We would just know, and then we could apply that to, no, hardly anyone else has the power to shoot electricity out of their fingers, so it's not like anyone could compete with you. But I think that I overlooked the fact that we do have superpowers. I think that we've all got something that makes us unique, something that we're better at than most people. Maybe not everyone, but we've all got something that we've got a little bit of a knack for. And it might be something that seems stupid right now. You might be thinking about something right now. Even if it feels dumb, it might be something that you can make something out of. You might be underestimating the power of that little weird thing that you're good at. But then, what if our little superpowers just make it harder to figure out what the perfect job is? Because, say you're into game design and you're really good at game design, but you hate the idea of marketing your game. There is some level of compromise that you have to face. If you want to grow, you have to push yourself. You have to do things that make you uncomfortable. But if it's something that will make you feel massively uncomfortable for the entire time that you're doing it, is it really the path you should go down? And that's what makes it so hard, because half of this thing that you're thinking about doing, you love. But then the other half, maybe you hate. And it just feels so confusing. Life is so confusing. Being a human is the hardest thing you're ever gonna do, which unfortunately you will have to do for your entire life. But maybe it doesn't have to be that bad. For me, when it comes to making YouTube videos, I get overwhelmed really easily when I'm learning new concepts. And it makes sense. I've always struggled with technology, but it's really disappointing because this has always been a dream of mine. And honestly, it still is a dream of mine. I feel like I just need to pivot my direction to find that space where I belong. And it'll take time. It's gonna take time to figure out where you fit in the world. And that's not a bad thing. We're honestly, nobody has it figured out. We all have to figure out over the course of our lives how we fit in. And I don't even think you should be thinking about it as fitting in, to be honest. I think you have to make your own space. If you really want to grow and you really want to make an impact, you have to create something where there isn't anything. Instead of filling an empty space, you have to step in and create something new and exciting. And even if that's in an industry where you don't feel like exciting really describes it, maybe exciting is whatever you bring to it. You just have to find that area where, as you're learning new things, it's making sense. You're not spending the entire time being overwhelmed. You will be overwhelmed at the beginning. That's just, when it comes to learning new things and making yourself uncomfortable, that's just the nature of it. You're going to be uncomfortable. You're going to be overwhelmed. But you have to be able to step back, take a breath, and really understand what you're feeling, work through what you're feeling, and get back to it, because that's the beauty of life. It's all about discovery. That's how you find your niche, your space. And honestly, in order to do that, you just have to try shit. You have to try stuff that you think you might not even like. Be more of a yes man. Like, not a bad kind of yes man, but you know the movie Yes Man? When people invite you to stuff, say yes more often. If it's something you've never done before, if it's something you obviously don't like, you don't have to say yes. But you never know what you're going to end up doing, what you're going to end up liking about the thing that you were invited to, or who you might end up meeting. Even something as simple as going to the bar, you never know who might walk up and start talking to you, and then they're suddenly the VP of a company in the industry that you want to work in. You never know. You have to go do things. You have to go try things, because that is the only way you're going to grow. That is the only way you're going to find your place in the world. Look for volunteer opportunities. It could be at somewhere that you know that you might like a dog shelter if you love dogs, or volunteer at an air show or something. Give things a shot. You do not know what's going to stick until you try. You very well may find your space somewhere that you would never expect it. Or maybe you have a friend who's into a hobby, you can borrow a few materials from them and give that a shot. Or go follow a random YouTube tutorial. Whatever the heck you want to do, whatever the heck you want to look like, there is no specific right way to do this. Just try shit. Just try shit, please. Push yourself outside of your comfort zone. As much as it sucks, we don't grow when we're comfortable. And when we're not growing, we're stuck in the same endless, depressive loop. Humans were made to discover and never stop growing. When you stop growing, you get bored. Even when you find the thing you want to do, You have to continue to grow and try new things and keep making yourself uncomfortable, because otherwise you'll burn out. There's this YouTuber that I watched named Doug Doug. He made a great video about finding the intersection between your two strengths. For example, he says, is storytelling and creating dumb goals. So his YouTube channel is a bunch of that. He creates hilarious videos out of himself just doing wild things, and he's built such a huge following from it. Honestly, I have a hard time figuring out what my two things are, but I feel like connecting with people is one of them. And honestly, I'm not really sure what my other one is. I think it might be being inventive, but I think I'm still trying to kind of figure myself out. But that intersection where your two big skills meet, that is your superpower. I'll put a link to his video in the description because it's really good. It has really solid advice. I think it's definitely worth watching. But as general advice, I think that a really good first step for figuring out a direction, other than trying shit. Once you try shit, then you can do this next step. Write down everything that you're interested in, like everything, every little thing. Once you've done that, write down everything that you're good at. And some of this is touched on in Doug Doug's video as well, but this is just kind of general advice that I've seen all over the place. Take those two lists, the list of things you're interested in and the list of things that you're good at. Especially if it's something that you're unnaturally good at, like someone, you get comments all the time about this thing. Take those two lists and make connections. Write down every way that you can connect list 1 to list 2. Like, say, out of things that you are interested in, maybe you really love dolphins. And then in list 2, things that you're good at, you like drawing, you like clay art, you like photography. You can draw dolphins, you can make clay dolphins, you can photograph dolphins. All of this is overlap between your two lists. Write down all of those ideas, every single possible way that your two lists can overlap. Try all of it. You don't have to go all in, super deep dive into spending hundreds of dollars on a hobby that you've never tried but you're interested in. You don't have to do that. Just give it a fair shot. If you can get secondhand items to start that hobby, perfect. Also, not every hobby needs to be a business. That is also important. If you just really like something and you don't want to take it to that business level, you do not have to take it to that business level no matter how many times people say, you should sell this. You do not need to. You do not. And don't subscribe to the belief that you need to stick with one thing. You can do multiple things. I think that you should focus on one thing at a time, but once you have that thing and you're finding things that you're interested in, you want to give them a shot, and you have that in your schedule, you can also try another thing. You don't have to focus your entire life, your entire direction on one specific thing. And if you can make one thing that you're interested in branch out somehow to the other things that you want to try, perfect. If you want to start a YouTube channel and use that to kickstart your art business, beautiful, amazing. Just start small. Start with small, achievable goals. Build up those small goals. They can help give you the momentum that you need to go in the direction that you want to go in without getting overwhelmed. Stay small. KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. You're not stupid, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's just the acronym. It's not me. It's not me. But another thing that I really believe that you should do, talk to the people around you. Listen to people when they say that you're good at something. Again, just because someone tells you you're good at this and you should sell it, does not mean you have to, but it can be a good starting point for figuring out where you want to go from here. The things that they tell you might surprise you, or they might not. Maybe they'll just remind you of something that you had forgotten about. But even if you're not surprised, if multiple people are telling you the same thing, that might be a sign. And please, please, for your own sanity, accept that it's okay to not have everything figured out. Life is a fucking journey. A walking to school uphill in the snow 30 years ago kind of journey. And it is completely normal to feel lost sometimes. Most of the time, even. Be kind to yourself. Take it slow. Give yourself a break. Pay attention to what feels right and what feels wrong for you, even if it doesn't align with conventional paths. Remember, you are not going to be able to build that space for yourself if you're worried about sticking to what you think is what you're supposed to do. And I know that's super basic advice, Everyone tells you that, and not even everyone follows through on that. But it's the truth. You have to show yourself kindness, and sometimes you have to be your own biggest supporter. And that's okay. If that's something that you have a hard time with, you might need to start all this journey by learning how to love yourself. But that is a whole complete other topic that I will not get into, maybe another day. But just remember, life is pain. But everyone's feeling that same pain. Nobody has their shit figured out. But you have everything that you need to get started on that path. Just be nice to yourself, man. I love you. You should love you too. But yeah, stay weird, stay awesome. Catch you later.